hell have you done with my son?
Tired of thrillers that blow all their twists in the first 20 minutes? You're not alone. With so many movies chasing cheap shocks and fast pacing, the truly patient, slow-building thrillers often get overlooked.
Get up.
It's all a big lie. I don't want to run away.
You are hiding something from me.
What is it you think I'm hiding?
But buried beneath the hype are films that take their time, tighten the tension, and reward you with endings that hit like a gut punch.
I feel like we're forgetting like a lot of stuff.
Today, we're counting down 10 slow burn thrillers that don't just build suspense. They completely flip the story on its head in the final moments. If you love movies that reward you for waiting patiently, this is your list. Number 10, Blink Twice, Prime Video.
We need to know what's really going on.
Zoe Kravitz makes a striking directorial debut with Blink Twice, a 2024 psychological thriller that lures you in with luxury before pulling the floor out from under you. Naomi Ackie plays Frida, a cocktail waitress invited to a billionaire's private island, where indulgence comes easy and boundaries quietly disappear. The early stretch feels seductive and almost playful, but unease seeps in through small details, missing memories, strange rituals, and the sense that everyone is performing a role. Kravitz directs with confidence, letting atmosphere and sound design do most of the work, while Channing Tatum delivers one of his most unsettling performances to date. As the mystery sharpens, the film pivots into something far darker, revealing a story about power, control, and survival that refuses to play safe. It's glossy, disturbing, and deliberately uncomfortable in the best way. Number 9, The Village. M. Night Shyamalan's 2004 period thriller is one of his most divisive films, and also one of his most carefully crafted. Set in a secluded 19th century community surrounded by forbidden woods, The Village builds tension through mood rather than shocks. The fear here isn't just of monsters, but of what people are willing to believe in order to feel safe. Bryce Dallas Howard anchors the film with a quietly powerful performance as Ivy, while Joaquin Phoenix brings aching vulnerability to Lucius. Roger Deakins' cinematography turns The Village into a storybook nightmare, and James Newton Howard's score gives the film its haunting pulse. The early reception was harsh, but over the years, the film has earned a second life as a thoughtful meditation on control, isolation, and the stories we tell to survive. Number 8, Frailty, Tubi.
Sometimes truth defies reason.
You're crazy!
Bill Paxton's directorial debut is one of the quietest and most unsettling thrillers of the early 2000s. Released in 2001, Frailty frames its story as a late-night confession to an FBI agent, slowly unfolding a childhood shaped by faith, fear, and violence. Paxton plays a widowed father who claims God has tasked his family with hunting demons disguised as people, pulling his 2 young sons into a mission that blurs the line between devotion and madness. Matthew McConaughey delivers a layered performance that anchors the film's shifting perspectives, while Powers Booth brings weary authority to the investigation. What makes Frailty so effective is its restraint. There are no flashy tricks, just careful pacing, moral unease, and a final act that completely redefines everything that came before. It's a slow, methodical descent into belief, guilt, and fate. Number 7, Arlington Road, Prime Video.
You gotta get everybody out of the building. They want the FBI this time! You wanna tell me something?
Released in 1999, Arlington Road is one of the darkest conspiracy thrillers to come out of the post-Cold War era. Jeff Bridges plays a widowed professor who begins to suspect his friendly new neighbors are involved in something far more dangerous than they appear. And what starts as mild paranoia slowly turns into a full-scale obsession. Tim Robbins is chillingly understated as the man at the center of the mystery, while Joan Cusack brings an unsettling warmth that keeps everything off balance. Director Mark Pellington leans into mood and dread rather than action, letting small details snowball into something catastrophic. What separates this film from most thrillers is its refusal to offer comfort. It's cynical, methodical, and brutally confident in its ending, Few movies are this willing to let the wrong people win. Number 6. Side effects. Prime Video.
Are you awake?
Destroy that before it destroys you.
Released in 2013, Side Effects feels like a classic Hitchcock thriller smuggled into a modern setting. Rooney Mara plays a wealthy young woman whose life collapses after her husband returns from prison, leading her into the care of a well-meaning psychiatrist played by Jude Law. What begins as a clinical drama about depression and medication slowly mutates into something far more devious. Steven Soderbergh directs with icy precision, shifting genres midstream and daring the audience to keep up. Catherine Zeta-Jones adds a cool, calculating presence that quietly rewires the entire story, while Thomas Newman's score keeps everything slightly off balance. The brilliance of this film is how patiently it misleads you, letting one version of the truth settle in before pulling the floor out. By the time the real game is revealed, you realize you were never watching the movie you thought you were. Number 5. Midsommar, Max. Released in 2019, Midsommar is a slow, sunlit descent into grief, codependency, and ritualized horror. Florence Pugh delivers a career-defining performance as Dani, a young woman drowning in loss who follows her emotionally distant boyfriend to a remote Swedish festival that happens only once every 90 years. What makes this film so unsettling is how brightly everything is lit. There are no shadows to hide in, no darkness to escape to. Ari Aster directs with meticulous control, letting small social rituals, polite smiles, and strange customs accumulate into something quietly suffocating. The relationship at the center is already rotting long before the cult reveals itself, which makes every later choice feel inevitable rather than shocking. By the final act, the horror no longer feels imposed from the outside. It feels like a conclusion that has been forming from the very first frame. Number 4. Primal Fear. Pluto TV.
I honestly don't know.
I saw the tape. I know what he did to you.
You know what I would do if someone did that to me. I would.
Released in 1996, Primal Fear is a courtroom thriller that builds its tension not through action, but through performance and manipulation. Richard Gere plays a slick Chicago defense attorney who takes on the case of a timid altar boy accused of murdering a powerful archbishop. What begins as a straightforward legal drama slowly transforms into a psychological duel, anchored by Edward Norton's astonishing film debut. Norton spends most of the film hiding behind a fragile stutter and frightened eyes, convincing both the court and the audience that he is nothing more than a victim. The pacing is deliberate, letting testimony, strategy, and small behavioral shifts carry the suspense. Then the final conversation arrives, and the entire story reassembles itself in a single, chilling moment. Few thrillers reward patience like this one does. Number 3. Black Swan, Hulu.
What happened to my sweet girl? She's gone!
Released in 2010, Black Swan is a slow burn psychological thriller that turns ambition into a full descent into madness. Natalie Portman plays Nina, a disciplined ballerina whose obsession with perfection begins to fracture her sense of reality. What starts as a familiar story about artistic pressure gradually becomes something far darker, as hallucinations, paranoia, and identity blur together. Darren Aronofsky keeps the pacing tight and intimate, trapping the audience inside Nina's unraveling mind. Every rehearsal, every mirror, every rival feels loaded with meaning. The film builds tension not through plot twists, but through mounting unease and creeping dread. By the time the final performance arrives, the transformation is complete, and the ending redefines everything that came before. Few thrillers capture psychological collapse with this level of intensity and precision. Number 2, Prisoners.
Everything.
Why did you look for my daughter?
Prisoners is a slow burn thriller that turns desperation into a moral nightmare. When 2 young girls vanish without a trace, the search for answers pushes everyone involved past their limits. Hugh Jackman delivers a raw performance as a father who refuses to wait for justice, while Jake Gyllenhaal's haunted detective slowly pieces together a case that refuses to make sense. Denis Villeneuve lets the tension simmer, building dread through silence, rain, and unanswered questions. Every lead feels uncertain, every decision carries weight, and the line between right and wrong steadily erodes. The film never rushes its reveals, instead, tightening the grip scene by scene. By the time the final mystery surfaces, the ending hits with quiet devastation, leaving you unsettled long after the credits roll. Number 1. Shutter Island, MGM+.
A lot of people know about this place, but no one will talk, it's like they're scared of something.
Released in 2010, Shutter Island is Martin Scorsese at his most unsettling. Leonardo DiCaprio stars as a U.S. Marshal sent to a remote psychiatric facility to investigate a disappearance, only to find the case growing stranger by the hour. The island is cut off by storms, the staff seem evasive, and every clue opens more questions than answers. Scorsese leans heavily on atmosphere, using fog, cliffs, and echoing hallways to create a constant sense of unease. Mark Ruffalo and Ben Kingsley add quiet tension to every scene, while the investigation slowly becomes something far more personal. It's a film built on dread and uncertainty, where nothing feels stable and every detail matters. By the time the story reaches its final moments, you're left rethinking the entire journey from the very first scene.
Show me your hands right now!
And that wraps up our list of slow burn thrillers with shocking endings. These are the kinds of films that don't rely on constant twists or loud moments, but instead let tension build quietly until everything finally snaps into place. If you're in the mood for stories that reward patience and keep you thinking long after the screen fades to black, every title on this list is worth your time. Let me know which one hit you the hardest, and if there are any thrillers you think should have made the cut. Until next time, keep watching carefully.